Right, well, good. Will, welcome to Lancashire. Welcome home.
Welcome home. Yeah, welcome to Lancashire. I've been here a few times.
You have indeed. I've got a few notes on my phone. I was going to pretend that wasn't going to read my notes, but I'll read them out.
Yeah.
And then we're going to see if we can
and work backwards or go through them. And first thing that jumps into my head.
So we've got Lancashire.
Yeah, the North, England in that order.
LANX, Chinawhites. Come in.
Yeah.
Maths classes with Sue.
Yeah.
Seb Bastonius, 97 Lions Tour, and the Greenwood 97 shirt. So I'm going to put that down there now.
Yeah.
And we're going to try and figure out how to
Happiest times of my life.
Yeah. Good.
We were just driving up yesterday and coming from Preston Station. I was a tachographer at one stage for 2 summers. I bet you don't know what a tachographer is.
I have no idea.
Tachographer, it used to, the original AI behind the lorry drivers, steering wheel, they put a piece of paper in, a circular piece of paper in, tells you what speed you're going, how much fuel you've used. I used to have to log tachograph. So I was a tachographer in Preston. It's my first job.
How old were you when you did that?
Another of Dad's, I'm going to say, epic business adventures.
Wow. He's had a few, I think.
Yeah, he's had it. There's a story in that one. And so I was driving from Preston, and it was just memory lane, just going back. Could have done the roads blindfolded, and just a massive, massive smile. And then when I took a picture of Barty last night and sent it to my sister, I said, first thing that comes into your head. And she went, oh my God, smiles and happiness, the best of times. Yeah. And we do have that. I think as you get older, we all have our scar tissue, businesses or work, or with me, injuries, that just can chip away at your childhood naivety, your childhood donkey from Shrek enthusiasm. The world is a happy, nothing can go wrong out there. And I sort of come back here and nothing went wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, all the crap that's come after, all the bits and pieces, has never happened here. So,
what age did you leave Lancashire? When did you move away?
That's a good question, because the one answer would say when they sent me away to boarding school.
Yeah.
Psychologically, I went away when I was 12. I can look back and go, I started to cut ties with that, but really when I went to Durham University.
Right, 18, yeah.
18, 19, then straight to London. And then I was the errant son, so my sister and brother would come back a lot.
Right.
And I wouldn't come back a lot. So rarely came back after that. So 1972 to 1991, I lived on Smithy Row, went to St Mary's Hall, then up to Sedbergh, but Barty, Shoebox, Nasher, Adam Ayer, Simon Forster, that lot in the Bailey Arms. Was it?
Yeah.
The walk across the playing fields to the Bailey Arms was a well-trodden path, like the paths that the sheep do at Stonehurst Park Golf Club.
So talk to me about that controversial transfer you just mentioned there from St Mary's Hall up to Sedbergh.
Yeah, that's Arsenal to Tottenham, right?
Well, it's like Sol Campbell of Lancashire, I think.
Yeah. So, I never got to the bottom of it.
Yeah, okay.
I think, Carling.
Yeah.
People said I followed him because he was Sedbergh, then Durham, then Harlequins.
Oh, you did, yeah.
So I saw this was going.
Yeah. He cleaned his boots at Harlequins.
But it wasn't quite like football. You didn't have apprenticeships where you cleaned the senior players' boots. But I was his stunt double. And then the irony was, because I assume, really should ask Mum and Dad. I assume it was because Sedbergh was just starting to build a reputation as a rugby school. The irony of it was, the Sedbergh team that I played in, sorry lads, wasn't epic.
Right.
And at the same time, Kieran Brackham.
Right. Were the same year group?
Paul Flood, and Vince Gradias, and John T. Warnican. Like, so names that you'd know Kieran Brackham, but the other names you might not know. But all England schoolboys.
Who won that game in sixth form between you two?
They did.
Oh, wow.
Yes, they did.
They were happy to get that one over on you.
Yeah, they did. But we sort of had Sedbergh were the least religious of the crew, but there was like a religious derby.
Right.
Stonius v Ampleforth.
Yeah, it was a big game.
Then we had the pagans from Sedbergh join in.
And you were
But it was
recently running. And...
Yeah, so they've got an amazing. So everyone thinks Sebba's famous for rugby, which it is. But the reality is, as a Sebba lad, all you ever wanted to do was win the Wilson Run, which is an 11.5-mile fell run. Yeah, you have to do in the East. We didn't do sevens. People said, "Oh, did you win the Rugby Park sevens?" Didn't play sevens.
Oh, right, interesting.
And actually, we didn't play county rugby at the time. It was my old man saying, "I'll take him out if you don't let him play county stuff." Right, so then started Lancashire. So Sebba, I would say, I mean, this is like therapy. I didn't enjoy boarding school. Sixth form, I sort of 17 and 18, and I got a new housemaster. It was just a little easier to cope with. But the first 3 or 4 years at Sebba, I just wanted to be back in Hurst Green.
Right. Beer in the Bailey.
Yeah, with the lads. And it was suddenly, no, off you go. And it was full boarding in those days.
Yeah.
See you in 3 months. Like, what? What do you mean see you in 3 months?
So you mentioned your mother and father earlier. Yeah. Your mother taught me maths, and I'm very grateful for that. The greatest day of my life is getting a C in GCSE.
She takes great pride in her pupils, getting them through street maths. She was good at street maths. She'd work out, not necessarily, I don't think she could prove pi r squared. Well, there's actually technically quite simple way to do the quadratic formula, minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. But she would go, what's the question asking? Can we get some method marks? And go from there. And if you can get 3 out of 5 in each question, you don't need to get it right. You can get a C with it. You probably didn't get one question right. You can get a C without getting a question right. So maths has been a massive part of my life. And do I play rugby using maths?
Well, you needed maths to count all the tries you scored for England.
Well, that was in a basic capacity.
Second highest try scorer?
Yeah, and I think Johnny May just nipped past me.
Oh, is he?
So right. Third. Right. But I'm
still not bad.
It's okay for a lad who ran the 100 in about 17 seconds. But I actually know what was the greatest thing Mum and Dad. So Dad sort of did English. His nickname was the Riddler.
Right. Okay.
But always riddle. Would never ask a question. Or he would try and get you to work out what he wanted you to do on a rugby field. Or in life by riddle. Or Mum was constantly go to Booth. Does Booth still exist?
It does indeed.
Booth is the northern posh Waitrose, isn't it?
On, Booth.
And we go to Booth and she'd go, right, you've got £5. We buy 2 bananas, 3 pints of milk, and a bag of ham. And the ham's 78p, and the bananas are 12p, and the milk. How much change have you got? So I'd spend my life constantly either in a riddle or a maths question. Right. So I was a problem solver. So I basically then applied that to rugby. We're playing the All Blacks. It's raining. We're 3 points down. There's 8 minutes to go. Well, I was back in Booths, working out how do I get 4 points, and I get 4 points by doing this. So I think the greatest gift that Mum and Dad gave me was to apply everything you know into the current situation or question you have, and work out. The kids call it. What do they call it? # beat the game.
Right,
so I spent my life trying to beat the game.
Yeah.
Whatever the game is, I'm going to beat it.
So one of the great games that I saw you play in was, I believe it was about 2001. So interestingly, me and you have met before. Really. You might not remember it, but it was in Chinawhite. I was 16.
What are you doing there?
I was with Dino Radici.
Oh my God, what a rascal. What a rascal.
So I think it was the 2000...
Is he still coaching at Blackburn?
He is. He's coaching up at Stonyhurst, I think.
More front than Brighton.
Right,
more front than Brighton.
He's got a few stories, and so me and him were out with a few people. I was 16. I'd never been out before.
Did you have that beard when you were 16?
I didn't have that beard. No, I had maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was after the France game where we mullered France. And remember when Mike Healy chipped it over?
Yeah. It was Catty and Austin scored.
There you go. And we were at that game. Bolshaw was in his pomp, and you lot were all in Chinawhite.
Yeah.
And
was I rude? No, I wouldn't have been rude.
Well, no, rude in a nice way. Right, okay. So I came up to you and I said, "Will, your mum teaches me maths," and you went, "Bugger off!"
No,
in a nice way. I think we had a bit of a laugh. We had a talk.
Yeah,
your missus was there and we had a chat. So, but yeah, talk to me about some of the great night outs with rugby and after games and
the fun stuff. People say, what do you want to go back to? You must want to play that game again. I don't really remember the games, and that's not. I hope that's not sort of mental. it's just, I had so many worries about just surviving the brutal games. I don't think I had the bandwidth to take in the ram speed, actually what was happening. The bits I always remember, and again, probably that 12 till 2 slot again, beyond, but my favourite bits were the change room, either before or after. Yeah. They're the most tangible memories I've got. And they were the special times with those lads. Of course, we had a few decent evenings, but the fondness I have for those guys was either seeing you at your most vulnerable 5 minutes before a game, and each of you managing to find a way to get each other through that nervous wait, and then the 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half hour after games, where you were either quietly just raising a glass to each other or working out what the bloody hell went wrong there and how do we fix it. Luckily with that team, that didn't happen very often. So
you obviously finished Sedbergh, on to Durham, on to Harlequins, then Tigers, was it? And then back to Harlequins.
Yeah, that's right.
And I believe you were at Tigers when you got the call up for the '97 Lions tour.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit about the lead up to the announcement of the tour, because we've just had the recent tour for 2025. Talk to me about, were you expecting to get in? And I believe there was a story about, was it you that hid Austin's letter or he that...
Take a wild guess who hid who.
Right, okay. I'll let you tell the story.
He's from St Anselm's.
Because you hadn't played for England at that point, had you?
No. Well, when Rugby turned pro in '96, I wasn't going to turn pro. I was going to stay working for HSBC and go and join a club called Rosalind Park and play with my Durham uni mates. Right. The offer I got from Harlequins was... derogatory is not the right word, but it was sort of 20 grand a year, 3-year deal, take it or leave it. I'm not saying I was Gordon Gekko, but I was doing all right in the city. I'm thinking, why would I take a 80% pay cut to go and play a game that we don't know if it'll exist in a professional capacity in the next 6 to 12 months? So I was going to say thanks, but no thanks, and join Rosalind Park. And then my old man drove down and said, no, don't be the bloke at the end of the bar in 30 years' time saying you could have done, because we had a really decent... I hadn't played England schools, but our England under-21s, I'd played Catty and Kieran and Lawrence. The list went on, Simon Shaw, Mark Reed. We had an amazing under-21s team. So he said, you've got to give it a go. So Austin was at Oral and I was at Queen's. We sort of rang each other up and said, where should we go? Because we had a empathetic... He hum it, I play it. There's game plans that everyone has, structures and shapes, and you'll see Gary Neville talking about it on the Premier League, or you'll turn on and Ben Kay will be talking about it on the rugby. But our strength was just to play what's in front of you, to understand there's a script, but if there's an opportunity, go. So we said, right, let's join somewhere together. And we thought, well, why don't we go and play behind the biggest, toughest, most horrible pack in the country? And so that's where we went. And Dad said, if you haven't played for England within 2 years, pack it up and go back to the city. So I went to Tigers. And
what year was that, 96? Then?
Yeah, 96. Back on nightclubs, met my missus in a terrible nightclub on my first night, Luxor's. And we had a hell of a European run. So a little bit like Henry Pollock, although he has played once for England. Yeah. He had a magnificent semi-final against Leinster. Yeah. I had that game against Toulouse in a European semi-final. Right, okay. Bagged one, set for 5 assists, just beat them by 50. Beat Toulouse by 50. You're like, what? Castagnede, all of them were playing. Had one of those days. And I'd been on the radar because in the old days there was something called the Divisional Championship, which doesn't exist anymore. You played for the North, the Midlands, South and South West, and London and the South East. So I lived in London, but I used to get the train up to Wakefield Westgate from work, pick up a hire car, train at Wakefield, finish training at 10, drive back down to Clapham, get home about 1:30, get up 5 o'clock, take the car back to the hire place, and then go to work. And that's what we did, and played for the Divisional. So the Divisional pitted you. There weren't final trials, but I would be playing against London and the South East. So I'd be playing against Carling, be playing against the South West, you'd be playing against the Glanville and Guscott. So whilst I hadn't played for England, I'd played in this divisional where they were starting to go, who's the skinny kid? And on Geach's radar, Syria McGeechan, and he didn't want to go through South Africa. He still can't go through South Africa 40 years later. They just won back-to-back World Cups to bring on the bomb squad.
Scotland's doing an all right job.
they've always been
Yeah.
that physical capacity. So he wanted players who, rather than kick the door down, wanted to pick the luck or go round, or go over or go under. And he saw something in me there. So I'd heard rumours that I might go. And then it came. I mean, they found out live. You find out live on Sky now.
Yeah.
And I think in the old days, even before, you'd find out on CFAX. But we found out by a letter. You wait for a letter from the Home Nations Committee. The chairman of the Home Nations Committee cordially invites you to represent the British and Irish Lions on the forthcoming tour to South Africa. We hope you'll behave responsibly and you'll represent the badge with the honour it duly deserves. And I was living with Austin, and he cottoned on that it was letter day, and he was always up at 5, Austin having a protein shake or doing something. And I heard this enormous roar of delight. So I hopped out and thought, we must both be in. Both in. He's cheering for both of us.
Yeah, you wouldn't shout too loud.
So I legged it downstairs, and he had one letter. I'm going. And I sort of had that sort of expectant look, and is that... He goes, no, sorry, mate, but, you were never going to go. You were never going to go.
No TikTok in those days.
No, correct. So it didn't exist.
Yeah.
So he waited and waited and waited. And then he said, look, there's 6 Leicester lads going, or 5 Leicester lads going on, because he wasn't including me. 5 Leicester lads going on this tour. Will you give me a lift to Welford Road? Because we're going to go for a few beers after. And, there's a big press conference, and in 4 years' time, there might be a chance you could go. And you might want to experience what it's like. And I thought, oh, what a nice lad, including me in this. So I drove him to Welford Road in my Mini Metro 1 litre. And as I pulled in, there was this guy from Sky, Graham Simmons, said, oh, my nickname was Shaggy then, this cartoon character. He goes, Shaggy, oh, well done. And Austin was like, he's nasty, isn't he? Why would he be saying that? I thought, yeah, it's a bit strange. I quite like Graham. So I got out of the car, and there's a few, it wasn't like paparazzi, but there's a few cameras, not like it is now, a few cameras on the meet. I think, well, Austin's the one going on the Lions tour. And I looked over the car, and is this what you're looking for?
Oh, bloody hell.
So 5 hours to get my letter.
It's incredible.
Yeah, the things you do for that sort of stuff. So I found out like that, and then it was just the most magical experience. So I walk into a change room, having never played for England. And my first game was Eastern Province, and Rob Howley was 9, and Gregor Townsend was 10, and Jerry was 13, and Tony Under was on one wing, and I'm looking around going, it's like, you remember that programme, Quantum Leap?
Yes, I do remember.
Where Steve, I think he was called Steve, would appear at the top of a ski lift, and then he'd like work out, what am I doing here?
Figure it out.
Well, I felt like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
Most magical tour until, of course, William, what have you done? Happened.
And your mum plays quite a big part in that.
Yeah, I've never watched, although I have watched it once, but the Lions, we had a 25-year reunion when Dottie was still with us.
Right.
And
Mistaken Identity.
they played it, the Mistaken Identity we had. And they played the clip, and I'd never seen it before. And it was actually, it wasn't an easy watching Mum watching me.
Yeah.
It was easy for me, because I've got 4 days of my life gone. Whereas you see what rugby's like as a parent. When?
Yeah, I mean, it's my favourite sports documentary ever.
It's good, isn't it?
It's
Wonderwall and
Wonderwall,
the Tour Court.
Yeah,
Ruprecht, Neil Jenkins.
Very few documentaries you have a tear in your eye, and I think that one you do. Obviously, that tour, that shirt has inspired something that we've created here. You've very kindly brought along your own tracksuit.
Good piece of clobber, that, isn't it?
It is.
Do a few quid on Vinted.
It would. And we've done a sort of take on the 97 shirt for fans to buy off LANX. Obviously, talk to me about the shirt. What was it about the shirt, when the original shirt that you got, that just has made it a cult shirt?
Yes.
I suppose. So
it wet through. It weighed about 17 kilos.
Right.
And weirdly enough, whenever I see long sleeves, I have a slight back to Bloemfontein. So one of my heroes, I was playing with on that tour, Alan Bateman.
Yeah.
And we were playing Orange Free State. And the way you grip a ball when I'd grip a ball, I'd run a lot one-handed, quite big hands, and you'd tuck the ball against your skin like that for feel and touch and offloading. And they call it chicken wing now, but we just called it an offload.
Yeah.
And Alan Bateman came out, and it was a dewy night in Bloemfontein. And he goes, Shad, don't cut your sleeves off tonight. Leave them long in order to have a bit of grip on there. And then it was that piece of fabric that the bloke whipped me over with and knocked me out. So that was literally the first thing I see on this. I see long sleeves. I want to cut them.
So were all the shirts long sleeve on?
Yes, and then in the old days you then cut them if you liked. You left them. Now obviously they're all short sleeve.
They are. Yeah.
There was a period of time when you could ask the manufacturer, are you a long sleeve or a short sleeve?
Yeah.
But the original days, you look at all my old shirts, you'd think, well, where's the thread gone? And you'd cut, but it was an epic shirt. And I think I was with Matt Dawson last week, and I remember, one of my, again, don't remember games, but we played Transvaal. John Bentley scored that try.
Correct. Yeah.
Before the game, we were playing at Ellis Park, where 2 years before, South Africa had beaten New Zealand. Nelson Mandela had given Francois Pienaar. And Wonderwall was on, and we were warming up in the dead ball area. And it was just three lads who played rugby together for 10 years up until that moment, warming up. So again, memories go, what was it like winning and that sort of stuff? Actually, it's little moments like that where you're looking down and going, is this happening?
Yeah.
It was an epic tour.
I think my favourite part of the shirt, and I can't recall another shirt that's ever had it, is the collar. Obviously, it had the sort of lion's crest on the collar. We've gone with our Lancashire bull, the British white bull that has the biggest testicles in the bull family.
Right. Which bull?
So the British white bull originates from Worley, where we are today.
Right.
Interesting fact.
Yeah. So it's the Jason Leonard.
Possibly. I've not seen his testicles.
I went big man.
He's a big man. So yeah, but other than that, we're obviously very proud to release it. The name of the shirt is the Greenwood 97. We're calling it the Greenwood 97.
Oh man!
I don't think we've mentioned that earlier.
No, you haven't.
Sure, there'll be a few royalties there.
Yeah.
But that's what we're going to call it. And obviously that leads me on to talk about you and coming on board at LANX.
Yeah.
Exceptionally proud moment for me to have yourself coming on as our first ambassador.
I sent a note, flip it around. I was chatting to my missus this morning, and I went, I said, Karen, this is so cool. I said, what? I said, I'm with the coolest cats in town. Honestly, when I turned up yesterday, it's me who should be humbled and honoured. You've built this incredible business with this incredible team, and just to be in the Shireburn last night and listen to a titan of the wallpapering industry talking about what you've done is you should be unbelievably proud. And if I can play a small role in helping, then fabulous. But to come and do it in Worley is great. So thank you for giving me the responsibility and the honour of being your first ambassador.
Yeah, well, we obviously work with a few clubs now. We're working with Sale Sharks, Leicester, Harlequins, Welsh Rugby. We've got a few more coming on board, which we can't announce just today. So to bring yourself on, for me and all the team, is a real milestone. Looking forward to where the next few years goes with the partnership. Looking forward to really hammering home that message of Lancashire craftsmanship. Yeah, the shirts are made in England. Obviously, you've been to the factory today. Yeah.
My favourite coach was a chap called John Burgess, when the county championship used to go on. And I think it wasn't Yorkshire. We were playing Cornwall in a final. It was like 60,000 people.
This is for Lancashire.
Yeah. And John Burgess' final team talk was, fellas, don't ever forget this. Lancashire, the North, England, in that order.
Good man.
And that phrase I'm not suggesting we want independence.
Yeah.
But that phrase has always been, I am a Lancastrian.
Yeah.
First and foremost.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, I think that's a beautiful way to end the video, Will. And thank you very much for your time.
No, pleasure.
All right.